dioceses that are going bankrupt because, these days, parishes don't have deep enough pockets to go out to the diocese,
Well, I was on this Catholic board of charity in Chicago. The guy that was the cardinal was Cody.
Did you get the
Oh, God.
silk off of the...
Every day, or
The silk
every
off?
year,
Yeah, it's all ready.
we would have a meeting of all the members of
water's fine.
the trustees or whatever.
How long has it been in the water?
He came in this one day, he was a massive man.
Oh, it's been in the water since then?
Huge.
Okay, so you can get all the silk off?
And
Great,
he came in and started basically of a newspaper guy, and he was gonna do this and that and so forth.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell he was talking about. Everybody, what are you talking about? This is a charity.
Well, I would like
What's he
to
talking
keep separated if I could.
about? So, I was on
The adults.
a lawyers committee, and there was a lawyer there, there was one guy, and he said, I represent Cody. I said, what the hell's going on? He said, he's gonna be indicted. I said, indicted? Well, what did he do? Well, then he died and the thing disappeared.
Yeah.
I looked him up on the internet. That guy stole $4 million from the bishops in the United States, $1.5 million from the diocese of Archdiocese of Chicago.
Yeah.
He had this girlfriend and apartments, and oh my God, what he didn't do was unbelievable.
And if you go to his mausoleum in the cemetery there in Chicago, it says over the top, resurrexes. Meaning in Latin, he is risen. Yeah, but the Bible says you either rise to the resurrection of the just or the resurrection of the damned. We're all going to rise, but I got news for you.
Yeah,
There's a judgment day. There's a judgment day coming,
Yeah, I might go south.
Oh, yeah. Some folks, an answer to God, they're going to answer.
Well, these guys that do these bad things, I was out with a couple, she's Italian, and came from a very well-known Italian family in Chicago. And
Right.
she's married to this guy, and they're in their late 80s. So I don't know how long they're gonna be around. We got talking about the church, and she said to me that she's very disappointed because she had gone through Catholic schools and all that. And she said that this Cardinal Bernardi, who was Italian, he was guilty.
Yeah.
I said, well, he was found not to be guilty. And she said, well, they just dismissed the suit.
Yeah.
That
That doesn't mean he's innocent. Not guilty doesn't mean therefore innocent.
Well, he was never found not guilty. The guy withdrew his suit.
Oh, okay.
Is there a fire going out there?
Oh,
Hot dog and just hamburgers.
No, just hamburgers. I just figured it'd be easier.
Okay.
Well, anyway, all that to say, it's a pretty,
pretty discouraging.
yeah, it gets very discouraging, yeah. And these days now, we still have that problem in the church in that too many bishops have too much to lose, so they're not outspoken on the moral issues. And they're quiet.
They're now talking about the lavish lifestyle that some of these cardinals are living in Rome.
Right.
I mean, I don't get that.
Yeah. Well, it happens to them incrementally,
Yeah,
They don't just suddenly,
right.
in little steps and stages,
They develop into this.
Yeah. Yes, anyway, the deal. But, anyway, as I say, there's a judgment day that's going to come for us all, and we all need to be sober about it, but I tell you, to whom much is given, much will be expected. And for priests and bishops especially, there's going to be a day of strong judgment.
Well, I often wonder where a guy like Hesburgh cared about nothing except money.
Yeah, right.
That's all he cared about. He was a money guy.
Right. Yeah, he's a pretty bad guy. And
Who
I
is
think
this?
he's just as bad theologically. He did a lot of damage
I don't
theologically.
know about that, but I mean, I just,
Who's this?
Hesburgh.
Theodore Hesper,
I don't know.
president of Notre Dame
Oh,
for
for
years.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy Cross priest.
Okay.
also, he ran the Land O'Lakes Conference that undermined all Catholic education and said that Catholic education had to be free of influence of the
Had to be free of
magisterium.
Catholicism.
Yeah,
They
basically.
could be free of what?
Catholicism.
The hell?
Right.
How could a guy think like that? You'd think that's what they would be supporting.
Well, again, it was about money. He kept thinking, well, you know, and remember, let's go back to 1965 when the Land O'Lakes Conference happened. People were idolizing science, the church was outdated, the liturgy needed to be updated, we were still praying in Latin. You know, we were just an old
Hey,
peasant church from Europe. If we didn't update, we wouldn't be able to compete with secular colleges and et cetera. And so, at the end of the day,
I remember
it was about money. It was about money. And again, there's no reason why
Can I get what?
the intellectuals kept up with all of it and still preached the faith without ambiguity. You know.
I'd like to get his name in the news as well, I heard.
Oh, he was a total egomaniac.
He was big, you know, he was there shaking Martin Luther King's hands.
Oh, he was all into that. Anything that would put himself in the news. As a matter of fact, even when he was retired and gone, a lot of those priests did not like him. He was autocratic as hell. I mean, if he didn't like you, you got nowhere.
Yeah.
If he liked you, you were a big shot. You know,
Yeah.
he was very autocratic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, it's a pretty significant damage he did. So.
The bowls and
Well, they were very, here's my sister as a young girl.
Yeah. Yeah, now probably all of 8 years old in that picture. There she's a little baby.
Yeah.
Nancy we sent you all those pictures. I think I put them on a disk and sent it to you at one point. All the old family photos that we scanned. Yeah.
You have those?
Mm-hmm.
And I can put those on my computer.
Sure. Yeah.
Love that. Who did that? Who did that?
Jennifer. No, just nerve shattering. But anyway, yeah, we get I can, you know, I can send them to you if you want to get them, make sure they get on this machine. But, you know, we scanned hundreds, thousands of pictures from photo albums and,
Yeah.
you know.
See, I was actually amazed because I had no knowledge of my father's pictures at all.
Oh, okay.
It's funny, he and I were so separated in a sense.
Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know.
You know.
You know, and to some extent, my sister and I were not that close like we should have been either.
Yeah.
Of course, I was, I guess, wild, and she always was worried that I would interrupt her girlfriends or something, I don't know.
react to that.
You know?
Well, anyway, but yeah, that's a pretty, you know, I'll just say, families are what they are. We get through them and we're imperfect and somehow
Well,
they form us anyway.
They went where?
yeah, you wonder what kids will turn out to be in these crazy times. I think there's gonna be a war, somewhat, because I think these radicals are going to get nuclear and capabilities.
Yeah.
You can't help them, right? They're not dumb.
No, you're right. It's
Yeah, we predicted that when it happened.
right.
We said it's gonna happen.
Right.
It hasn't happened yet, but it's 50 years ago we predicted it.
Joey, what?
Yeah, it's a pretty grim situation with the Islamic terrorism, and they. I think what I have to say is sort of in sort of strange admiration. They still believe in something, whereas most Westerners just don't believe in a damn thing. And because of that, they're strong and we're weak. Now, I'm not saying they believe in the right thing. I'm just saying they believe in
No,
something.
you're
They're
right.
strong
You're
about
right.
it. Now, we used to be like that. We actually cared about some stuff. And that's
Well, I
not
think
an
that's
issue
what
common.
the deal of Donald Trump is.
Perhaps, yes.
He's
He
taking a
won't,
stand.
he will be, the newspapers will destroy him.
Well, it's already happening. I mean,
They
if you
will
watch
get rid of
Fox News, Fox News has turned on Donald Trump.
Have they turned on him?
Yeah.
Hmm.
They thought it was an
Megyn Kelly.
interesting caricature for, publicity purposes to rail against the Democratic Party, but I
they
don't
will
think they
destroy
ever
him.
win.
He's dead meat now.
Yeah. What do you think of Cruz? Probably the other.
I like Cruz. I liked him from the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm a big cruise guy.
Yeah.
But you see, he's another guy that the press isn't going to accept, and the media.
No.
They're going to go with this guy Cashing or whatever his name is, because he doesn't really stand for much. He's mild, and and they'll put him against Hillary, and Hillary will wipe him up.
Yeah.
Well, I think a large part of the reason the Republican Party doesn't want Trump to win is he polls so poorly against Hillary. Cruz actually polls much better.
Does yeah.
And plus, I don't think the Republican Party, they realize they can't control Trump.
Yeah.
So if he gets elected, he's going to reshape the Republican Party in a way that completely upsets the status quo.
Yeah.
For better or
Trump is
worse.
super generous, yeah.
What I can't understand, I mean, if you're like a Kennedy, I mean, the bishops all couldn't wait to hug him.
Yeah.
And he was against everything they stood for.
Everything.
And they wouldn't give up. I never
You know what the expression is, Dad? Money talks and bullshit walks.
A little more comments.
Now, Ted Kennedy, I won't say who, but I had a long conversation with a certain cardinal of the church, and basically he said to me, it comes down to money. Ted's got money, and he's got influence, and we're not just gonna alienate him, we're just not gonna do it. And I'm like, well,
What do you stand for?
yeah, that's it. I mean, are you worthy of Jesus Christ, or are you worthy of the Democrat Party, Who are you gonna be, worthy
Well,
of?
with the Kennedys, it was the Democratic Party.
Yeah, right.
They didn't care about anything.
No. But it's another thing to say a bishop, are the bishops worthy of Jesus Christ, or are they just worthy of the Democratic Party? So that's the thing where I think, when a guy like Kennedy completely opposes almost every single one of our moral issues in the
Well, look at the
and they
Supreme Court,
continue to-
4-4 on everything.
yeah, right. So one guy's running the whole country right now, a guy named Kennedy, Justice running the. It's not. It's very unhealthy that we come down to that in this country, because there's no
But
legislative.
you don't even know what side he's gonna go on.
Yeah, you never know, and he gets to call the
His
shots.
hand
and that's
isn't
not
out, for
healthy.
God's sakes.
Yeah.
You have those pictures were emailed.
I don't remember that.
I can dig them up.
What's that? The pictures
Yeah, I have them. I have all they were emailed. It was an email file.
of pictures of.
These pictures.
Oh yeah.
I don't
I
know.
can send that to you. You just
Yeah, I can always send them to you another. We probably even scanned some more since,
We'll put them on a disc or something.
Yeah,
Because I
okay.
can't figure out how to do all
Maybe
this.
I'll go to my dad's house, and the next time I'm up there, I'll
Oh, here,
put it
I
on
want to give you this.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
These are my new cards.
Oh, all right.
You gotta have one of these
All right.
in your repertoire.
Go, Dave. Esquire.
Here, do you have one?
Yeah, I have plenty, but I'll take a dig at
I get one to George too.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and send them to you. We have a lot of pictures from, going all the way back to, some photos from when your parents were young. Very few, but more, and then a lot of them when you and Mom were growing up, and then a lot of them also, where, obviously by the early '60s all the way through to the '70s and so on. So a lot of pictures from that era.
That's funny because we didn't have George. Here's my card.
Oh.
Great. You're gonna put me on the list for that car thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Hertz.
I can't do that anymore. I'm not with Hertz anymore.
You left?
Yeah, they had a downsizing, and I was one of the people downsized. So
Oh, God.
yeah. So anyway, I'm kind of retired these days, and
Good for you.
yeah. So
Clipping coupons.
clipping coupons and retired. So yeah.
Well, you might not be in, you might leave of Naples.
No, we won't. We're saying no.
Jennifer, do you like this place better than the cold of Minnesota?
What now? Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you like, what is this?
Naples.
Naples better than,
Oh, yeah, the cold's too much.
yeah.
Snow and cold, I don't like that at all.
No, I
12
don't
years
either.
of that was way too many.
Yeah.
Well, you still get cold all
So it's nice here.
Yeah.
I
So,
do like DC though. It's
In moderation.
I could never move back to New York. It was just too much.
We moderate a little in DC.
plus, I don't want to give Charlie too hard of a time, but he doesn't have to deal with the things like the shoveling and stuff that the mere mortals
Oh, yeah?
have to deal with. That's taken care of for the things. So some of the worst of the snow stuff is taken care of by
Yeah,
the
but they
staff.
also don't have to plow and shovel to get out for your work day and your school day because
Oh,
things get
God.
shut down.
Right.
And their snow melts in a day or two. Ours
Yeah.
stays for 4 months.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So do you miss Chicago in the snow?
No, I haven't been back, really.
And then you had the bad traffic there on top of that.
I got used to the traffic. I'd say the traffic in Naples is tough. I mean, you got a lot of roads and cars here. I mean,
Yeah, it's nothing like the Miami area, but
It's in order for me to get off of Brickell Key, if the Brickell Bridge goes up, it literally will take me 20 minutes.
well,
And Brickell Key, it's a very small town.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
when that bridge goes up, it's gridlock, and they're building 2 million more square feet
Yeah,
right on Brickell Avenue.
right.
And these county commissioners that are the city planners, I don't know what they're thinking. They're probably it's Miami, so there's
Right.
money going around.
Yeah, so I don't complain too much about the traffic here. I've lived in Houston, I've lived in Atlanta, I've lived in the DC area. All those have really bad traffic. And here it gets a little cluttered in the winter time, but we're kind of on the northeast end of Naples, so we avoid some of the worst of the traffic, and it's just not really that bad.
Like 3 to 4 p.m. on a Friday though, that's probably peak traffic because
Yeah.
people in Florida don't work on
Right.
Friday afternoons.
Yeah.
This is that's
Yeah.
kind of at least that's been my experience. That, whatever the traffic patterns are on Monday through Thursday,
Yeah.
if it's 4 to 6 p.m., it's 2 to 4 p.m. on
Right.
Friday.
Right, yeah. Now, my son Charlie would love for us to move back to Minnesota.
Was he let in for baseball and hockey, and his friends?
Yeah, all three of those you captured, and I feel really bad for him. I thought he'd be, adapting a little bit quicker than he has, and so forth. But we got my mother-in-law living with us now, and she's not gonna be up to Minnesota.
let me ask you, who's the oldest, Charlie?
Charlie, yeah.
Is he a senior or
Freshman, he's a freshman
in high school?
in high school.
You know,
Is there a Naples High School around here? I think we might have.
Yeah, there is. He goes to Gulf Coast High School. So Naples High School is basically not quite in the heart of Naples, but it's getting closer to real Naples than we are. We're, like I said, kind of in the northeast corner of Naples, and we're not within the city limits. So we have Naples near the address. But I gotta get the corn off the grill here.
Okay, you gonna check to make sure it's ready?
Joe, you got a plate for me?
Well, use
Yeah, life changes.
choose that.
Yeah, but what did you officially retire? What year?
96.
Yeah. Was it? 1996. I've been out, how long is that, 18 years?
20 years, yeah. 20. No, and that's when you moved from down to Florida?
Yeah. We rented a house while they were.
Building that monstrosity.
Yeah. I told, my dad's very meticulous,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd actually lived in South Florida. I taught scuba diving down here actually while in college. And I told my dad, I was like, I don't think you're the type of person that can handle a construction project in South Florida. But he went ahead and bought a piece of land and started.
They're all crooks.
Yeah.
I dealt with crooks.
Mm.
I mean, they just.
Well, Martin County is actually worse than Dade.
Martin County is
Number one
so
in the country.
corrupt. I couldn't believe it. Everything was corrupt. But here in where I am, in Indian River, it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Well,
Yeah.
Martin County is known as the most corrupt county in Florida, and maybe even the nation. A lot of the mortgage fraud actually occurred in Martin County.
Later on, or when?
No, I'll do it right.
They had a lot of the mortgage brokers there, and what they would do is they would literally take people's W-2s and white out the number, retype it, and then scan it, so that they were basically manipulating federal documents.
Right.
You know, I have a vague recollection, this goes way back, years ago now, but when Cuba pretty much shut down, the mob had to pull out of Cuba.
59.
Yeah. They pretty much, a lot of them moved into South Florida.
The mobsters.
A lot of land deals and things that were going back and
Well,
forth.
I live in Cuba. I live in Havana, New
Yeah,
Havana.
right.
I mean, I really do. It's especially Coral Gables. It's
Yeah.
everybody speaks Spanish, and I don't know how many times I tried to do business with them, and it's gotten to the point where I just won't even bother. And when they ask,
They
me,
won't do business with you.
they will, but they just won't pay you.
Oh, well.
In contrast to them, it's like, okay, what are you going to do? Like, I know some of the most prominent Cuban families in Miami, and if they don't want to pay you, you can't sue them, and then you got to get out of business. So it operates like a cartel. And actually, the one family I know very well, the Honduras, that owns Domino Sugar.
Is that what they own? Is that the
They own Domino Sugar, the hotel you were at, and then they own half the island of the Dominican
Of course,
Republic.
we didn't, when I was there in that Dominican Republic resort, I didn't realize, you saw guards at night with guns. And I didn't realize that the Dominican Republic was dangerous. I thought it was.
Well, that part of that, it's you cannot go into that island. That part of the island, it's acre after acre after acre, and it's owned by the Honduras, and it's strictly for wealthy Westerners.
Yes.
Yeah, it's oil plant, oil and everything.
Yeah, and so and you're not allowed on, if you're Dominican, it's private land. So it's basically the fiefdom of the Honduras family.
Well, they had a city,
Well, I think
it was a beautiful resort, I can't remember the name.
It's called Casa de Roque.
Okay, the outside's okay.
Yeah, I know the outside.
Beautiful resort. And then you leave the resort and you go down this road that was dark and there was nothing on it. And then you come to this city that was an Italian replica. In other words, they went to Italy and they duplicated this city.
Oh, yeah.
They looked just like Italy. They're not that big.
Yeah, right.
But you'd have to go there in these,
Armed
golf
cars.
carts.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's part of the Honduras estate.
It is?
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Because they trace their roots to Spain.
One night
Are
we
you
went
gonna
there,
ask everybody if they want
Bob
cheese,
and,
if they only have a certain number of?
she was pregnant and everything, and we made a wrong turn on the road. I mean, there's no lights or anything, so you make a wrong turn. God, I said, Bob, we're in the wrong area, something's wrong here. And he said, oh, yeah.
You want cheese on your burger?
Yeah.
Yeah, Swiss and.
Cheese,
and
great,
cheddar.
either one,
Cheddar would be great.
great, yeah. And we came back, and later on, I thought to myself,
Bit cold, eat well, and
This
that's
is
good.
too good.
we were in dangerous country.
Yeah, throw it out, that's what.
Well,
Because
the
policemen
Dominicans
with
hate.
the guns were gone.
Well, the Dominicans hate the people that go to Casa de Campo
I think the other Swiss went out because it was, had
people
some mold on it.
from wealthy people from the West, but they would never do anything.
Huh?
Did your mom take
Because
cheese on her
the
burger?
repercussions and
Oh,
the
with cheese
retribution
all
would be
too.
swift and
Okay,
severe.
that
and
sounds
just
good.
hang. So I don't think there's ever been anybody that has been robbed or accosted in Casa de Campo.
They had guys with the
They'll
rifles.
use them. They'll literally shoot people just for walking on property.
God,
And Andres, was telling me that. I was like, why did you, select that area? It's like, well, it's one of the most beautiful places in the area, and with respect to the crime, like, we don't fool around with that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've been out to the Virgin Islands a few times to
Oh, which one were you at?
St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix, the American Virgin Islands.
Okay.
We were on all of them, yeah.
But anyway, as you know, then you've been there. It's a lot of contrast. You have very wealthy areas and very, very poor areas.
Yeah.
I was down there preaching a retreat for their priests, and I also preached another retreat another year. I preached for all the parishes of the Virgin Islands. So luckily they brought me down in February.
If you want to talk about corruption, those
Yeah.
places are unbelievable. They have an energy issue there. Their electricity costs are 45 cents a kilowatt hour, which is amongst the highest in the world.
Right.
That's like
Where? Virgins?
yeah, in the Virgin Islands. And there's plenty of alternative sources, but there's a local electricity concern that
They also desalinate water. So water is very expensive, so most of the locals...
Well, the desalinization process is very energy intensive.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little bit better now because
Scratching each other's back.
What's that?
Scratch each other's back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little bit better now with the drop in oil. But they actually still burn diesel.
Maybe want a
Generate
toasted
electricity.
bun?
I wouldn't mind one.
Okay, toasted bun?
No,
Oh.
You want a toasted bun?
No,
I don't know.
I'm not gonna put
I
social.
look at the world, I'm 85, so I've seen a lot of things change dramatically.
Yeah.
I mean, there was always, problems like,
Be careful about
when I was
over
younger, crime and stuff like, but it's not like now. I mean, nobody has any values on anything.
Well, the economy has become and has increasingly become more and more of a barbell structure. You have a barbell structure. You have the haves and the have-nots.
You open that.
There's just not any wealth creation other than kind of the very top percent. And most of that wealth creation has been strict. It's not income based. It's asset price increase.
That's true.
And so if you've got Obama, talking about how he's, saved the economy, and all he's doing is printing money. Well, where's the inflation felt? It's felt in stock prices.
Yeah.
It doesn't create any income for.
How are we
middle
ever gonna
class.
get out of $20 trillion?
I have no idea. And the reason family creation has become, it has slowed down is, people aren't willing to absorb that level of fixed costs because there's no such thing as job stability anymore.
Well, I'm an employer, and I cannot afford to hire full-time employees anymore. I have one full-time employee, and all the other employees are part-time because I can't do it.
I can't get full-time. The only thing I can get is contract work because nobody wants to pay for the health care. Nobody wants, nor, if they want to downsize, deal with separation costs.
Right. So somewhere we decided, I don't know when, but to start linking healthcare to who your employer is. It's just silly. We buy everything else, all the other homeowners insurance or car insurance. We all buy our own
I
insurance.
have government drug thing,
Yeah.
Medicare Part G.
Yeah, and now they've done this, every drug I get, they have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get, like a shot of insulin, that's gone to tier 3,
Yeah.
which means you pay 60% of the damn thing.
Mm. Yeah, anyway, all that to say, I mean, it's you don't need to be an advanced economist to understand that when you tax something, you're going to get less of it, and when you subsidize it, you're going to get more of it. But neither one is healthy. You need to let the market kind of create the supply and the demand, and let those things meet.
Well, sometimes, kind of aggregating, the supply function can be a benefit. Public utilities being, one primary example. You don't want a bunch of distributed generation facilities not achieving those economies of scale.
Sure.
But, I mean, on the healthcare side, it's, I actually looked at doing a private equity deal in the healthcare space. What they're doing is now, and the core component of the Obamacare is pushing the insurance risk onto the doctors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're not going to say, okay, Dr. A performed ABC procedure, is billing me $1, of which 10 cents is his fee and 90% of that is the